how do you decide on the mentors?
Fascinating question. When you're starting out, you have this. Recently, I was reading this book called Rookie Smarts by Liz Wiseman. And I really love that idea of the book because it speaks a lot to me. When you have a beginner's mindset, you are very open to absorbing anything. You're like a sponge, right? So you will seek out every and any mentors, right? So you may not be so selective about mentors. However, you need to be selective about what you take on from the mentors. And as a beginner, okay, so there are many contexts to it. The first context is that as a beginner, you seek out many mentors. And whatever they tell you, right, my principle is this: do it once. So for example, it says, Coen, go do this. I'll say, okay. I'll turn around and go do it immediately. I'll apply immediately.
Right.
And why I say once, not twice, at least once. Why? Because if I do it once, then I will be able to experience what it's like to do it. And sometimes when the mentors tell me to do something, I'll go do it once and I realize, no, this is not quite me, because this strategy or this action doesn't make use of my best talents. I don't feel right doing it. And then I would respectfully tell the mentor, say, thanks very much for your advice. And then I would decide, I will move on to do something else instead. But every now and then if you do everything once, you would find that there are few things that really works for you specifically. And you'll find the one or two things that you enjoy doing. And then what happens? You rinse and repeat lah. Then you do again and again and again, and it continues to get you the right results. So at the start, right, when you seek a mentor, maybe you're not so discerning. You just find anyone and everyone who you think is successful. Good. Do not be so discerning about the mentors you choose, but be discerning about what you take on. And my advice is do it at least once. However, as you progress and becoming better at what you do, you become more and more conscious and aware of what are your strengths and what are not your strengths. So sometimes when some things are not your strengths, you may decide to outsource it, or you may decide to delegate it, or collaborate with people who have these strengths, right? So however, if there's something that's not your strength, but it is still important for you to develop and grow so they can grow your business, now seek out mentors who have that specific strength. Yeah. And then always be an open book. Listen. And again, my same principle, do it once. If the mentor tells you to do it, just do it once. And this is very fascinating because as I now mentor other people who are up and coming, I ask them to do something. Sometimes they'll ask me questions like, why should I do it? I don't want to do it. And that to me, I mean, I'm not trying to say that I'm very clever or I'm very smart, but I only share what has worked for me. I wouldn't ask people to do things that I wouldn't do myself.
Sure.
Right. Yeah. So if I ask you to do it, or if I advise you to do it, at least do it once. Just do it once. That's it. And if you can come and tell me, say, no, Coen, that doesn't work. Okay, fine. Right. I'm not so attached to it. I wouldn't be upset if you don't adopt it further. Right. Yeah. But at least be willing to do it once.